Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Tuesday. I'm your host, Kip Kirchberg, and today we're going to be talking about enterprise insights of the top 10 cybersecurity initiatives for 2020. Number 10, antivirus or application whitelisting technologies. While antivirus tools are effective against known signature threats, the industry is struggling to keep up with the ever-evolving virus and malware threats out there in the wild. Application whitelist or microsegmentation using various layers of security is the best way to protect your environment. For application whitelisting, you can use tools like Carbon Black, Silence, or SentinelOne. For microsegmentation of networks, you can use tools like Cisco ACI, Tempered Networks, or Darktrace. While none of these solutions are perfect, all vendors listed here, mentioned here, are a good choice. At the end of the day, the reality is you should pick a solution and do something, because quite frankly, doing something is better than nothing. Cyber range, just like the military, local law enforcement, or personal protection services, similar to the security guard at many businesses' front desk. The level of service that these people provide vary drastically. Typically, the personal protection services or the local security guard at your organization is merely somebody checking name badges, looking to see if you have a company-issued name badge or an RFID tag that matches this organization, and they nonchalantly wave you in and out the door. Seen it many a times in physical pen test or physical cybersecurity initiatives where we try to physically break in the business. Very easy. 9 chances out of 10, security guard doesn't even ask to see the picture. As long as you got something hanging off your shirt or your pants that makes it look like you're supposed to be there, they let you in the door. Now, then it moves you on to the police. Police are a little bit more skilled at training, but honestly, they're jack of all trades, master of none. They have so many things going on that they can't be really good at one thing. But overall, they serve a good purpose. This leads us to military folks. Military folks are very highly trained individuals who are ready at a moment's notice to fulfill a mission with very high precision and effectiveness. High trained folks. That leads me to the question, what level should your security team be up to? Well, that's really a decision the business must make and support. For some, it's simply the act of checking off a box. For others, it's wanting to maintain basic in-house cybersecurity experts so they can give best effort solution. And then there's some others that want to have high-twitch cybersecurity professionals in-house who are using cybersecurity technologies to not just provide protection for their business, but actively defend the business from real-world cyber threats. Typically, this group is aware of what's happening in the cyber world and has intimate knowledge of the steps that should be taken to defend, remediate, and recover should a cybersecurity event occur at their organization. Here's what I can tell you. Even the largest of Fortune 500 organizations struggle with what level of cybersecurity support they want to provide in-house. More often than not, the business typically demands porterhouse steak level cybersecurity support, when in reality, they're just checking off boxes. And at the end of the day, they're providing their support staff a supersized value meal cheeseburger budget to get these things done. It's not going to happen. What level should you be at? Again, that's a question you got to ask your business. Number 8, weak or compromised passwords. According to Microsoft, over 44 million passwords are actively being used against Microsoft Online resources or Microsoft Azure Active Directory resources. It's a known fact that many users use the same username and passwords for multiple sites. I've seen cases where high-valued assets in an organization had their corporate leaders or leadership using the same corporate email username and passwords for local forums. A good example, Corvette Forum. There are guys at one organization that were a member of a Corvette club, loved it. They used their corporate email address and, believe it or not, the exact same password they used to log into their AD accounts. Again, that is a big issue. While this is not uncommon practice among many users, it doesn't take long to surf the dark web and find that there are gigs and gigs of user credentials living out there on the dark web. Whether or not they're still valid Well, that's up to the attacker and how they disseminate the data, but at the end of the day, 9 chances out of 10, if they get a 1 gig file, they're going to find hundreds, if not thousands, of active user accounts. Multi-factor authentication. According to Microsoft, over 99% of all automated cyber attacks are thwarted by the use of multi-factor authentication. The right type of multi-factor authentication can make it almost impossible for a cyber attacker to gain access into your system. There are many solutions that allow you to enable multi-factor in your environment. The first couple that come to mind for securing Active Directory is Azure Multi-Factor Authentication, and then the other one that I typically see in the environments is Duo Multifactor. For personal accounts, a great multi-factor tool for those of you at home that have some personal accounts, your banking accounts or online accounts or anything that you have, you know, Facebook, eBay, again, banking, anything you have, a good tool for that would be to use Authy. Another great tool for that is using some sort of password manager like LastPass. If you're in a corporate environment and you're trying to figure out, hey, what do I need to do to first secure my Active Directory environment? Well, the first thing you should really start with is your Active Directory God accounts, the accounts that have access to everything. Once you get those locked down, move on to your local IT folks, get it implemented with them, get some local buy-in, then move on to your executive staff, get their buy-in, and then naturally down to general users. This will really have the largest impact and help you support a case to move to the business and get their buy-in as you move along. Number 6, a common thing you'll be hearing about is Titan, Fox, and C2 or other type of very highly sophisticated malware. This is malware that may perform many malicious tasks, such as downloading and executing additional malware, receiving commands from a central command and control server. We've also seen this type of stuff log keystrokes and participate in a distributed denial of service attack against other organizations, lock or encrypt the contents of your computer or servers, and obviously in a crypto lock scenario, they're demanding ransom in return to unlock those accounts. Malware droppers typically have some sort of AV or antivirus logic built in that allows them to go undetected from many antivirus tools or products. Most commonly in the wild, we are seeing that these droppers are typically delivered either in a Microsoft Word macro script or PDF or something else that typically comes through email. So again, just keep your eyes out because this malware is out there in the wild. And again, known antiviruses and malware tools typically look for signatures of stuff that's already known. Well, if it's never been seen, your antivirus isn't going to see it. So you got to be on the lookout and implement strategies to help be on top of anything that may be coming in your environment, typically through some sort of email campaign. Number 5, artificial intelligence. Not only is artificial intelligence useful for cybersecurity experts, but it's also a great tool for cyber criminal organizations. Cyber criminals are utilizing AI to collect data and learn user habits to maximize the potential effectiveness of launching a phishing email or malware attack on a victim's PC. Once a malware is planted, the cyber attacker will use AI to determine the best options to self-propagate malware and determine timing for the maximum impact in which they launch their attack. Number 4, DNS over HTTPS. That's right, DNS over HTTPS. It's been known for some time that most malware depends on DNS to successfully execute its code. Many organizations have recognized this and set up DNS systems or subscribe to services that are designed to prevent a malicious DNS callout. However, cybersecurity attackers have caught on to these tricks. They're now using DNS over SSL, essentially connecting to a secure website and transferring DNS requests over a secure connection. This is the same type of connection you would use when you log into your bank. The data between your PC and the bank is shared over a private secure tunnel that only you and your bank can decipher. Is that really secure? Well, I can share with you that the tools used by organizations to decipher SSL encryption exist. The purpose of SSL decryption is to do a deeper inspection of traffic passing through an environment. This is to ensure that malicious code is not making its way through your front gate. Top malware communications are DNS, TCP, SSL, HTTP, and SMB. Again, hackers are using HTTPS to transport these logs. So you have to have some sort of decryption to detect these malicious activities. Otherwise, if they just went out raw DNS or raw other protocols, you would easily detect them. Hackers are aware, so just be alert. Number 3, gathering insights. Phishing is a source of more than 95% of cybersecurity breaches in 2019. Phishing attacks are expected to more than double this year, including email spoofing. These type of attacks will be the reason for an increase in ransomware attacks in business operations going into the new year of 2020. Number 2, the use of cloud technologies. You commonly hear it. Everybody says, let's move to the cloud, to the Azure, to the AWS, to here, to there, to Rackspace, to whoever. At the end of the day, you're really just using somebody else's computer. And really, while moving these services or moving from in-house to a third-party service provides operational efficiencies and saves organizations millions and millions of potential dollars on capital expenses, the reality is this introduces a new risk. Many organizations or IT folks simply don't understand the risk of moving to the cloud. There's a big risk there. You really need to treat your third-party vendors like Azure, AWS, Rackspace as if it was a physical data center in your environment. Many folks don't do that just simply because they don't understand. We recently chatted with a client who was using some AWS stuff and actually had some of their systems exposed to the whole world. This was unbeknownst to them simply because they forgot to check a box. Again, if you're moving your stuff to the cloud, you really need to pay attention to what you're moving to the cloud and how you're securing it. Okay, number 1. The key to combating any type of cyber attack is to build a system that gives you visibility and insight into your environment. The utilization of a SIEM is the best tool to collect these type of logs. Implementation of a SIEM will build insight into your environment and help you identify what cyber threats are actively hitting your business. More often than not, just collecting this data and reporting the facts have allowed businesses to ensure that they're spending their cybersecurity budget in the right areas and make better cybersecurity-driven decisions. A prime example of this, I've worked with a business who dumped millions upon millions of dollars into new firewalls and firewall technologies thinking that this was going to have the biggest impact on their cyber threat landscape. The reality was that after analyzing the data, it was discovered that integrating multifactor in their environment was really the immediate need and would have the biggest impact, as their accounts are being compromised daily. Now don't be mistaken, this does not mean that firewalls are not important. I just mean that in their current environment, the primary cyber attack vector was something they didn't even consider. It was user account breaches. They didn't consider an account compromise because the business wasn't even aware that it was taking place. The old adage is you cannot protect what you don't know, and knowing what needs to be protected is only half the battle. So again, implementing something like a SIEM will definitely help your organization build insight and identify the cybersecurity threat vectors that you should really be focusing on. As I report more on cybersecurity moving into 2020, I will dig into each and every single one of these items and provide you a little bit more insight into these areas. If you or your business has a cybersecurity related question or need help implementing any of these technologies, feel free to reach out. I'll be glad to schedule some time to talk to you and your business about your needs and help you develop some sort of strategic plan to reduce your overall cybersecurity attack surface. Again, my name is Kip Kirchberg, and thank you for joining me on today's Tech Tuesday.